Shout out to the family. This the boy Swab Boss Man. Snapping Off Entertainment. AOI. The Argument League. And the Debate League. Man, shout out to Psychopatheist. Shout out to Psychopatheist, man. Let me say that up front. Great job. Great graphics. Great order. Yeah, bro. Doing the damn thing as far as restructuring or structuring a place for people to come debate and do their thug thizzle after the Solar Mind disaster when, he totally just fucking destroyed himself. I'm still looking for information on that case. Maybe I'm not the best at it. Maybe someone locally could find the information. I don't know. But shout out to Psychopatheist. Make sure y'all subscribe. The Debate League is doing its interrogations, aka the interviews, to see if people come up and, prove themselves worthy or win people over to be welcomed into the Debate League. And so we here watch Marley. Shout out to Marley. He did his damn thing. And now we have none other than the B1. Hold on. hold on. Because I might be in the building with something. Let me see. I got that. Yeah, so Taz did his interview yesterday. As Psycho put it, he's like the good cop. He comes in and lets you get your shit off. Oh, don't worry about nothing. We're here for you. This is only, for you. This is to get the people familiar with you. Get your guards lowered down and see what's popping. Let me see something. Oh, damn, I could have sworn I heard that shit. I have it somewhere. Don't worry. Hit that like button as y'all come in, please. Please. Hit that like button as y'all come in. Y'all already know this is the boy Swab Boss. And let me see, is this it?
I am the GOAT.
What?
Mr. B1.
What?
Taz Exclusives.
What?
The king of content.
What? Yeah, I still got that. Let me see if I can cut that out. Let's see. What is it? Do it again.
I am the GOAT. Mr. B1. Taz Exclusives. The king of content. The man is not allowed to fly a plane in his own country, but you want to convince the world that this man is not only a threat to his neighbors, but he is a threat to the entire human family. You are a liar. Liar. And the people are intellectual cowards who sit down.
Yeah. So it's not about me. This is about us. And this is about Taz. This is about the Debate League. So let's get to that one. Hold on. Let's hear that one more time, man, just for the people that.
I am the GOAT. Mr. B1. Taz Exclusives. The king of content.
All right. So that interview went down yesterday. And it went how I expected it to go. Right? See, the caveat with Taz and A9 and Domo and Blue and other people is because we're already very familiar with each other and the intellectual things. At this point, it's hard to interrogate a Taz to the degree that we can interrogate a Marley, because Marley's never been up on the skew. He's never been put up on the Barbie like that. Taz, plenty of times. So he did a great job with his interview. Let's get right into this and see what's hot. And like I said, shout out to Psychopathist. Shout out to Taz. Make sure y'all subscribe to Psychopathist. And make sure y'all subscribe to the Debate League. Let me pull that up because some people don't know what the fuck that is. And we have to get that channel popping also. Let me see. Because that's, I don't know if he's double streaming it. I don't know. But that's where the debate is going to be. But of course, he has more traffic on his main channel. So that's where the action is so far. So here it is right here. Let me make sure I share this to y'all. No, don't leave the studio. Stay in the studio. Stop sharing. Man, shout out to Judas Redemption in the chat. Let me share this. When I get there, okay, I think it's up. Okay, he's gonna simulcast to the base. Yeah, but we definitely got to get his other channel up, and there it is, the DABATE League. I wonder what the letters stand for. An anagram. I don't know what it stands for, but make sure y'all subscribe to that channel right there. You never know what the future holds. You want to be in both spots, so let's get it. My computer's running on some fuck shit, but nevertheless. Okay, bet. It's also on his what's the name. Got you. Got you. Got you. So here we are attempting to share. Okay, yeah. So, yep. Subscribe to the other channels. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App. Make sure y'all get the Patreon and all of that. And all of that. Instagram, X. Yeah. Okay. You got reparations. You got it in Spanish. All right, so let's get it. Let's get it.
So okay, so yeah, I am Taz Exclusives. I typically go by GOAT now, you know what I'm saying, because it's been, years of being on the platform, and you know what I'm saying. But most people know me as Taz or whatever. I do a lot of Black first content, and I say I do as if I'm still making those videos, but actually I just been uploading a lot of the ones I've already done because they weren't up anymore. And now I'm more moving towards doing a sports channel. And so if you could subscribe to that, that's called the Sports Algorithm, a little shameless plug there. So I'm doing a Sports Algorithm channel and kind of centering there, but things that happen in the Black community is hard for me to ignore. So I'll always be uploading on my main channel, which is BYT GOAT. But other than that, I'm just a content creator that try to get a message out.
Okay, that's what's up. So you mentioned the Black community. What is it about the Black community you focus on in particular?
Well, more so from a news aspect. Honestly, I try to deal with what's going on in the media and what's being propagated, because a lot of times I find it is given in a way that isn't.
Can y'all still hear it? Because I actually put like my headphone in. I want to make sure y'all can still hear the audio.
Beneficial to us, or it might not. It might be indifferent to us, but it's still not given to a black.
Is the audio still good? Okay, bet. Let's get it again.
Perspective, and so I feel like a lot of people don't like history
From the
that
stream,
they
y'all
don't
can hear
know.
the actual stream.
So instead of challenging people on history they don't know, I've chosen to more so center the conversations around the trending things, like what's trending in the news about black people and things that happen, in black communities.
Yeah. Now, I do know you're a history buff. What made you get a passion for history? Is it something you always had? Is it something that somebody instilled in you, or was it natural? What happened with that?
My grandmother, a historian, and I watched her collect a lot of information over the years, and she used to take us to a lot of events like popular belief. Like I said, I grew up learning a lot of Pan-Africanism. Like we went to Kwanzaa events every Christmas and all of that. And like I say, I just, I didn't shy away from what it was she was doing, but I didn't realize the benefits of it until maybe too late. That some of the things that I could have benefited from in terms of being a history buff, it was kind of late in the game when I realized, like, damn, I could actually do something with all of this knowledge. And so a lot of ways I feel like I let her down early on by not doing it, because I was right there. I was always privy to it. I was able to retain all of this information better than any of the grandkids, but I wasn't interested until, she got later in her years.
If you had to ask if your grandmother was still around today and you had to pick her brain about a certain time period that she either lived through or was familiar with, what would you ask her?
I would ask her more about my grandfather's ancestry, because we didn't really discuss it much. It's one of those things, like they say, that he had a Indian background and whatnot. And because none of that stuff was important, it wasn't something that we hyper focused on, that we were black people, and none of that stuff mattered. And so because those rumblings have always been around the family, I would be interested to know the depth of it now and how detailed those things are. And so by her not being here and by that conversation not being relevant until recently, I never got to ask none of that.
Now,
yeah, like on another thing, like, man, shout out to grandparents, shout out to the time capsules. Man, I say that's like good crazy sentiments, But yeah, I'm gonna ask my grandmother, I'm talking my grandfather's lineage, who we come from. That wasn't a big deal. Like when we was young, we was just young. We was just young, doing our own thing. Here it is. But yeah, that's just something that if you still got your grandparents, if you still got your parents, and when you become parents, and when you become grandparents, get it, make it regular to pass that information down. I don't care if it's write a book, record audio tape for the kids, man. Let's stop leaving ourselves, so uninformed.
Now, you mentioned possible Indian ancestry. What's your opinion about the Aboriginal movement that's floating around in the black community? You have an opinion on that one way or the other?
Well, initially, because, you was around for a lot of the initial conversations, I initially tried to give credence to it because I do know people grow up being told, you got Indian in your blood and you got Indian hair and this and that. And so I tried to give credence to their arguments. But what you'll find in listening enough is they have an issue with black people. They have an issue with being black. And so I was pretty much indifferent on it until they started attacking Harriet Tubman. When they started doing the video saying Harriet Tubman wasn't real and that type of stuff, as a debater, it sent me into a frenzy. And I've never been the same since in terms of that movement. I can't even respect it. Like I said, there was a time when I was kind of indifferent to it because I was hearing people out. But now it's clearly more about diminishing black people and diminishing accomplishments and turning black people into India. I can't support that.
Yes, and so a lot of these people that claim Aboriginal, Indigenous, Native American, a lot of them also attach themselves to the FBA movement. Do you have the same opinion about FBA, or your opinion about FBA a little bit different?
Not kind of, it's kind of the same way. I actually wanted to do TikTok under like a FBA and just, do Black history. And so, I tried to use like the fake FBA historian type of vibe on TikTok. But what I found was, as I'm posting this Black history, they're coming in there talking about these was Indians, stop calling them Black, and saying stuff like that. So I ended up having to change my name and can't even mess around with the FBA stuff because they're not really interested in history. They want to hear something they never heard before and call that history.
Which is ridiculous. Which is something I had to see too when you come into these communities. You think everybody, you're just not on game about the different sectors of people out there that's gonna come at you in these weird, odd ways. So yeah, it was like Judah with the Hebrew Israelite thing. Like, these people weren't Black, they were Hebrew Israelite. These people weren't Black, these people were Indian. Then, like I say, Tad's been doing this work for a long time, for a while. He's very vocal. He goes into these sectors, get control of the information. And then he gets thrown a twist by the people who's already in them sectors that have these anti-Black thoughts, these anti-Black mindsets, where it's like, yo, we not Black, we Choctaw. Even if that's true, Choctaw is Indian. Say Judah's Redemption, huh? You don't even know my stance. Yeah, you Black American first. Understood. Judah, I'm talking about Judah Nazareth. I'm not talking about Judah's Redemption. All right. Well, shout out to you, man. Yeah, not Judah. The weird Judah. The Chinese Judah. The crazy Judah. The shirtless foaming from the corner of his mouth, threatening sexual assault on people, Judah. Not you. So yeah, that throws you off. Bam. So, and he's talking about the Dan Callaways. I don't know if he's still popular or whatever. I'm sure he is. I don't really comment those channels. It's like the what's the other nigga name? Brother Sanchez. But yeah, interesting. And let me put this link out here in case, in hopes that someone gives a fuck enough about the conversation to hit the panel. But let's go.
They don't want to source nothing up. They don't want to debate nothing. But turn everything Black into Indian. And again, I'm not willing to do that.
I feel you. So now they also promote a lot of stuff about, being anti-Pan-African and everything else. They have issues with Africa and everything. What's your opinion about Pan-Africanism? Because they usually try to put these two you would say ideologies against each other. So what's your opinion about Pan-Africanism?
So I have a slightly different approach to Pan-Africanism than a lot of people would argue is in the definition. So I believe that Pan-Africanism centers around the African continent, and until you get the African continent together, you can't have that as the centerpiece of any movement. And so I know it's not about moving back to Africa for any of that, but the idea that the tribes in Africa are allowed to be separate and allowed to not get along while we look to the diaspora and look for unity. I hear more about unity everywhere but on the African continent. So for my understanding of Pan-Africanism as it applies to me, I view the African continent as the origins of where it would need to be if you're going to have Pan-Africanism. Now, I do understand the origin of Pan-Africanism and how it applies in the United States, but that does nothing for those Black people, and it does nothing to bridge the gap between us. So I don't like Pan-Africanism as the daily definition as someone would use it. But I think in conversation, one will find that I'm not anti-Pan-African. I just don't like the usage of it in terms of only the United States in a diaspora. I think the African continent plays a central role in what Pan-Africanism is supposed to be.
So you feel like Pan-Africanism takes people away from like their like thinking about the United States and the issues we have here and focusing on the Black communities here in this country?
I would say no to the framing of that, because I would argue Pan-Africanism is taught as an American concept. So if anybody's being left out, it's the actual people on the continent. Pan-Africanism is for people here in the United States and people in a diaspora. I feel like the people that get left out are people on the continent.
So you feel like the people on the continent, the different countries, they should unite first before they try to unite, before we try to unite with them. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not even unite with them, but unite under a banner of them. Because I'm saying Pan-Africanism is a banner. It's something that we can all come together under. But if they're not together under it as Africa, we have nothing to come together under. And so again, ideologically, I know it works because we unite under ourselves in America. But we need them for true Pan-Africanism.
Okay. All right. So and I heard you mention the Back to Africa movement. I know one of the people you've been going in on since you've been coming on this platform is somebody who promoted that a lot, which is Marcus Garvey. Where did this passion about Garvey stems from?
Man, listen, you know what? I be with you. At one point, it was a passion, and it was a passion because instead of debating the topic, and I'm saying like 2014, 2015, a lot of people just wanted to mail it in as if I was just saying something negative, and so write me off. The only person I could actually get to debate me on the topic and go back and forth with info, sources and whatnot was actually Renee. Shout out to Renee. Everybody knows Sister Renee. You know what I'm saying? That was the person that, you know, I had my original Garvey discussions with. And a lot of my research back then, I think led me into the debating point of it. That's like, okay, I can debate this. Now, I think if you debate something too much, people start to attach that to you as a hatred. And in reality, like I say, I think the point of debating it was lost when the United States government pardoned him. So that's why you don't even hear me talk about it as much anymore, because it was more.
Yeah, shout out to Sister Renee. Shout out Sister Renee. And yeah, that was like even now, like recently, Taz is the anti-Garvey dude. And the way that I see Taz get lined up with a lot of these discussions is people over glorify something. People idolize something. People like try to turn something into a messiah. And it's like, hold on. And Taz got to come down and rip all of that sentimental bullshit from your motherfucking heart so that we can focus on the people that we need to be focusing on, which is us. You know, we are the people that need to be focused on, not praise or nothing like that, but these thoughts, you know, got to be updated. The information got to be updated. People got to just stop doing this out of my love for, you know, well, my grandmother had a picture of and stuff like that. Like, yeah, so, like, I get it. And I think, what was it? I did the Garvey debate with him, and, you know, I did pretty good. You know, I did pretty nice. I think I won that debate. And then he came back and whooped me with, we had like a double header instead of other. So, yeah, shout out to Taz for that. Sorry, it's been such a stickler, you know, people been such a stickler on just making you defend stuff that you really don't even necessarily give a fuck enough to defend until it's like you're running from a fade now. So it's like, nigga, fuck you, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, motherfucking, whoever you want to bring up. So yeah, shout out to him for that.
More so contention of the information, which I always thought was an uphill battle anyway. You're talking about the FBI files, you're talking about things that are documented from 1920s. All of it was uphill, but it was for debate. But now that he's been pardoned by the federal government, I find it almost impossible to debate that. You know what I'm saying? You can't really present someone who was pardoned as a scammer. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of left that one in the wind, but of course I can still debate it. But you know what I'm saying? I kind of left that one behind.
Okay. All right. So, Marcus Garvey was infamous for getting into it with W.E.B. Du Bois. And W.E.B. Du Bois is also somebody who went after Booker T. Washington. What's your opinion about W.E.B. Du Bois and his positions against Marcus Garvey and Booker T?
I think he was out of touch, man. I think one of the bigger problems of that time period became trying to be a bigger person, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be most known. And I think after the great legendary Booker T. Washington died, the door was open for people to scramble to kind of put themselves in his position. I think that's what led Du Bois to doing a lot of things that would be considered some snake shit. You know, and some things I disagree with, some things I don't. I do think his overall ideology, like the talented 10th and all of that, it wasn't ideologically sound. I get the premise, but it doesn't benefit the 90%. You know what I'm saying? There's no trickle down economics that would work for our community. So early on, I could see why people would not have liked him. But I think in hindsight, we got to give a little grace to some of these cats. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was necessary to argue and fight, but we saw that even in the later years with Mark and Malcolm and whatnot. It's like, the ideologies are going to clash.
So are you in favor? You're against classism? Because I feel like he pushed classism into our community. Are you against classism? Are you in favor of it?
I'm against classism. I don't really like classism. I think we practice that way too much because when I think of classism, I think of just something as simple as calling other black people broke and telling them they ain't got shit and they doomed, and you know what I'm saying. So I feel like we practice a lot of classism today, but it's not attached to Du Bois.
Okay, all right. What's your opinion about the Black Power versus nonviolent movement that went down in the 60s?
Oh man, so my personal, like how I actually feel about that, I never actually get to talk about it, right? But like it's so I'm not straddling the fence, but there's a way to support everybody from the 60s, right? I support the radical movement. I support the movement that was led by Malcolm X, which some would call the NOI. I don't really respect it as the NOI. I feel like Malcolm was a man just with them behind him, almost as if he created the motherfucker. I just think there was room for everybody, and now today we find ways to split the community apart. And so, again, as a debater, I'll debate Martin versus Malcolm, or the Civil Rights Bill, or James Meredith marching, JFK. So I'll debate all of those things, but in reality, I try to make sure everybody, the Fannie Lou Hamer, you know what I'm saying, the James Meredith, everybody. I try to make sure they all get their just due from that time period, because when I was down in Belzoni, Mississippi, visiting the gravesite of George Washington Lee, and found out that story, it kind of made me realize how many black people are written off in that time period just because of the few names we know and their bickering. And sometimes that shit just sound like entertainment. It sound like gossip shit. Whereas we got people who never get, talked about for, what I'm saying, their contributions and the things they did before they were untimely assassinated, like Medgar Evers. So
I try to support everybody in the 60s, man, if we talk about my actual stance on it. But of course, if you getting me geared up for a debate, I tell you Malcolm was a bitch for following the nation. I tell you Dr. King was soft. You see what I'm saying? For a debate, I might say anything, but you know, my understanding of that time period is we got room to support everybody because there was a lot of people who don't get any voice or any notoriety.
Okay. So in your opinion, what broke up the Black Panther Party?
And I go with that. But that's the gift and the curse about times, right? Like he'll come along and call someone like Malcolm a bitch, but then, you know, because a lot of people just Brandon Malcolm's dead. I mean, I don't even use verbs like that, but a lot of people be like really just on Malcolm. Overglorifying this kind of great dude, can't take nothing away from him, in my opinion, but you know, some people who have this allegiance to Islam or just this romanticism for those periods or people from those periods. So he'll come along and say something like that, but then he'll defend W.E.B. Du Bois because a lot of people hate W.E.B. Du Bois. So it's like the people that get over hated, he bring notoriety to it. The people who get over notarized, he brings hate to, and it's just that just got to be a natural instinct form that just makes it easier for him to just know who to target and win, you know. But yeah, what destroys Black Panther?
I think everybody started to see that the pushback was going to land you in a horrible position, and so either you was going to have to start trending towards Black Liberation Army, or you were kind of going to be stuck just marching and doing what, let's say, Dr. King was pushing for. And so I think by the time you get to 75, 76, you got all these Black men in leadership roles locked up. You got a lot of young men who are looking at it as an option, but also see what's going on when you do push back. Then you now start to see the members of the Black Panthers move away. Women move into the leadership roles. You don't see as many men. And I do think that led to the downfall. This is all, of course, prefaced by COINTELPRO and the actions of the federal government. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, all of that is going on while you have targeting of these Black men and they get locked up slowly but surely. But after the first 6-7 years, you know what I'm saying, you looking up, everybody locked up, people getting trumped up charges put on them, people getting gunned down by the police, they raiding spots. I don't think people had the same energy as, you know, you do start to see a little progress. People do start to see a little progress. You starting to send your kids to school with white kids now. You know what I mean? They're considering it progress when you can go and get a job in places you didn't see Black people working at. And so I think with that, you started to see some of the legendary Black Panther leadership even go into politics because they maybe changing it from the inside would be beneficial. And of course, when you do that, you don't have them street soldiers no more.
Okay. All right. So you feel like they should have stayed away from politics, or you feel like they should have, you feel like it should have stayed like an underground movement, boots in the ground, not getting affiliated with the system?
Yeah, them niggas sold out when they went, so that shit fucked everything up. They sold out.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned that you was against classism, and you also just mentioned that they sold out when they started partaking in the system. What's your opinion on governance systems, right? Are you because you know they was infamous Marxists, right? Like Panthers was Marxists. Are you at least at its core when they first started? Do you believe in socialism, capitalism, communism, monarchy, dictatorship? Like, what's your opinion on governance systems?
So, you know, I'm just be real with you. Like, I've read a little bit about all of them. I think all of them are flawed. Socialism is probably the only one I would take out and say is viable. But I like what, and I gotta be saying it But I like democracy. I like the democratic republic that the United States operates with. Of course, it's got a terrible history. But in terms of like what I see across the world and some of the ways they're governed, I don't know if I would look to another system and say I'd rather have it.
Okay, so you don't think Black Americans should, if hypothetically, if they was to get their own land, nation, whatever the case may be, you don't think they should operate under a different governance system?
Oh no, I don't think Black people should be even thinking about or pursuing their own land or any of that. I think that stuff sounds crazy. I think that's a horrible doubt.
So you're against,
no doubt.
So you're against separatism?
Separatism at its core, ideologically, I think would be ideal, but I think it's unrealistic.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. So you feel like the best thing for Black people to do is pretty much just kind of conform to the system and be the proud Americans and embrace the country as, just that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, at some point when you say conform to the system, I'm saying nothing extra and over the top, but just simply understanding that we do follow the laws every day. Ain't nobody trying to go to jail. We all trying to have some money. We all want to see our kids benefit from this shit more than we have. So I don't think that I don't think it's a problem to pursue the American dream. I think that's what you're supposed to do if you're here.
Okay. All right. So now doing that, isn't that what the Panthers did, though?
To an extent. Again.
And that makes me think, right? The American dream. Because to me, nations exist. And at one point, these nations did not exist. So some group of people came up together and concentrated their numbers, did what they had to do, and became a nation. Now, after this European nation, this European nation, this European nation, this European nation, all of these people that felt oppressed, all of these people that felt separated from, all of these people who felt like they had no representation, or was, underrepresented or misrepresented, and then they come together to get their own nation. And what's the perfect answer? When Black people started being oppressed, and white people started being the dominant people that's tearing the world up. Now you have missiles and bombs, and you're dropping it on Nagasaki and Hiroshima and this, that, and the other. So now the perfect answer would be, oh no, there's no reason to create a new nation for y'all. Y'all could just come over here. America is everyone's nation. Like, no. Black people should not be trying to integrate into America as its own nation. Let the games keep going. Just like these other places before, Black people need their own nation, no motherfucking way about it. Fuck an American dream. An American dream is something that sucks the revolutionary out of you. It's like, I'm in a comfortable position. My kids are in a more comfortable position. But if you look at Black people as a whole, the destruction that was caused to us, the destruction that is on us to prepare ourselves from, now it's like, oh no, we don't talk about race. This is about nationality. This is about patriotism. So yeah, like that sucks to me. That now that it's Black people time to actually have a voice and separate, it's like, oh no, we're here in America. We've been here, but that's the shit that motherfuckers was saying. At every point in time when it was time to build our own. Why build our own when these people are so, good to us, even though we have our differences? It's still better than over here or over there. Yeah, no, let's keep the basketball. Black people need their own nation. It's inevitable, if you ask me. Like, why wouldn't the Black people in America fight their own nation. And then I hear, you know, like I asked about it because he said, you know, he deemed this, you know, not, it's far-fetched. Impossible is even one of the words he used. So it's like, why is it impossible and far-fetched now that it's our time? You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was able to sit up here and build a nation, and have this and have that, and do this and do that. And now that we talking about it, it's like, yeah, no, we don't do that no more. That office is closed. Hell no. Hell no. And that's the trick that they give you. You don't need your own nation. You don't need your own nation. Well, guess what? You can take your black ass back to Africa. You could motherfucking jump up and disconnect from everything that you've known, everything your parents know, and go over there and be a stranger in another land. Like, yeah, you'll eventually get your foot down and, you know, find your way, find family, you know, friends, and become family. And this, that, and the other, get a hold of the politics and the currency, you know. But no, and when I say black people should have their own nation, I don't mean everybody jumping up and moving to Africa. The fuck for what? But those of us who want to go back to Africa, we need to fight for us to go back to Africa. And have dual citizenship. I don't mean like go to Africa and cut ties with America. Yeah, no. Y'all did this to us. So guess what? This is the answer. You're not going to make me choose. There's not going to be either pick this inconvenience or this inconvenience. No. I'm going to talk to you about what's convenient. We need to start, as Americans, starting these programs for black people to get familiar with not just Africa, but the world. But yeah, specifically Africa, and help us build relationships with them, help us open up trade with them, help us do what we got to do to reestablish ourselves as not just the underclass to America. But no, I'm not trying to fight for a better position than white supremacy. What is that? Oh, Ah, my bad. I haven't gotten there yet. Okay, so yeah, that's my mentality with it, and so I think we should be having those discussions, man. Like, I'm not mad at the people who want to be here and be better Americans. No, I don't have a choice but to be American. I was born in America, and yeah, I want America to be the best America could be, but I also want black people to be the best they could be. Even the black people that want to fight to no longer be seen as black, because it's bigger than that. It's bigger than one title, one flag, one umbrella, something like that. Like, we all need to be fucking with each other to help us establish what we see is the healthiest thing, and whatever works, works, and whatever doesn't, doesn't, and we accept both of those. That's just it.
Again, I mean, early on, I think some of what they were doing was beneficial. I think, again, the later years after some of the corruption and infiltration and whatnot, you start to get questionable actions. But like, nah, I think what they were doing, especially if we just separate for a second and do the political party, the Lowndes County Panthers. Like, I think that in itself was kind of like a model that we should be following. If we gonna have a quote unquote separatist ideology, run them on a ticket. You know what I'm saying? Let's like actually start trying to govern, and maybe we could see more of a benefit from it. But right now, I don't see what I saw even in 65 Lowndes County, where there was a concerted effort to push black politicians.
Yes. Okay. Now you mentioned politicians and everything. What's your political position? Democrat, conservative, independent, Green Party? Like, what's your political party that you represent?
Yeah, I don't mess with any of parties, man. Like, I don't I actually think they've all been detrimental. Well, actually, I can't say they all because some of them, of course, have no bearing. But in terms of like Democrat, Republican, Independent, excuse me, I just think you're supposed to vote with what best aligns with you. And I don't think that's always going to be one side of the ticket. I don't think you can go down the line of Democrats and find success in what you're trying to get out of the politics.
Okay. Do you think black people need their own party, or do you think that's even possible?
Now, I think that's possible. I think that's a plausible scenario, and I mean it's one that. Okay, so I struggle with the I struggle with the ability of it to make an inside of locally, but I do think locally it could be some game changers that catapult people into mayoral governor seats. So I think it's something that would, again, it would have to start, grassroots ground level in black communities, but city council is supposed to be a stepping stone. And you know what I'm saying? Once, black people start pushing for those positions, you find black people in positions and more political.
Okay. Would this black party, let's just play hypotheticals, if you can formulate this black party, would you support policies about immigration?
Like what you mean? Like, nah, I ain't supporting no immigration. Like, not at this point. Now, about a decade ago, I probably would have been indifferent. But when I moved to Chicago and started seeing how the immigration impacts that city, again, I completely turned against it. So about a decade ago, I probably would have been indifferent to it. But now I am completely against illegal immigration. Now, legal immigration, I'm still indifferent to, but specifically policies geared towards stopping illegal immigration, yeah, I would be all for those.
Okay. What would your position be on smaller government, states' rights?
Ooh. Well, so I say it like this. As a historian, I'm inclined to believe that states' rights is problematic with no oversight. And so, although I do believe that there is the need for states to operate in some ways outside the federal government, there always has to be the oversight that the federal government has within federalism. I don't think you can get away from that to keep the checks and balances. I think that's, you got Jim Crow and all of that history. The government kind of turning a blind eye and not making these states operate within those checks and balances.
Okay, all right. So, in this party that we hypothetically building up, what would your position be on LGBT rights?
Yeah, okay. So I would argue that they are already covered under the Civil Rights Act of 1860.
Which now that I'm thinking about it, because, okay, I'm less confused now. Because so many of Taz's ideologies line up with Black First, but then so many of his ideologies don't lean toward the African presence. And because he doesn't walk around boldly screaming it, yes, he has a Native American or indigenous to America mindset. Like I said, I believe so. It's like, oh no, we're here, we've been here, our people's here. I haven't heard him go off on that rant. So let me just throw the words out there so that he can kick him in the nuts later or agree with him. But yeah, we've been here. We're not the African that you say we are, if we're African at all. All of these people from outside of America, these immigrants, yeah, fuck y'all. The American established government didn't get established with white people. We as Native Americans already had that system here. We already had flags, things of that nature. So it's like, now I kind of see it. Now I kind of see it. Okay, understood. Understood. Because I don't have no faith in the voting system. He has faith in the voting systems, not the parties, but the voting system.
66 on end as people, and that there would be no need to add or take anything away from them. They are people just like everyone else in the United States, and so there's no reason to wage war or campaign against them. I just don't support that lifestyle.
So would you be in favor of gay marriages?
In favor of? Absolutely not. Now, as a politician, I would argue against it. As a body that governs, I would argue against it. And the argumentation that plays out is what I think should win. Now, if someone out debates me on the topic, or I'm outnumbered, then that it is what it is. I'm saying? I can accept L in that, but I'm pushing against.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. So what's your let's see. Obviously, I'm gonna go ahead and just ask. What would your policies have anything to do with pushing forward towards reparations?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, a political party, to me, that should be the number one agenda of a Black political party, as a way to actually get in the game in terms of Black people is absolutely. Like I said, I would hinge the entire conversation on reparations. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So let's spin this around real quick, and let me ask you. You're real good with dates. Let me ask you this. Where was you on the day of January 28th, 1986?
I was sitting in a classroom at Whittier Elementary School in computer class. That's where I actually learned to type at. And when the Challenger exploded, we were watching.
Did that affect you as a little kid watching the Challenger explode?
No. To be honest, it had no impact whatsoever. I remember that day because, of course, it was like a stoppage that they'd almost like, I guess, equivalent to like JFK's assassination or something like that. There was a stoppage that day. So I remember that. I wasn't directly tied to it, no.
Okay. So you never had no dreams about going to the stars and reaching the moon, and none of that astronaut dreams and none of that?
No, nah. I actually just start paying more attention to the stars and whatnot here in the last few years. That's stuff I never really got into.
Okay. Now, do you feel like people have reached the stars? Do you feel like people have actually reached the moon?
I got still some doubts about it. If I have to say one way or the other, right now I would probably argue for going to the moon. I used to argue against it, but one of the documentaries, I think it was you that actually showed me where it came from, and they were using cutout footage and whatnot. So, once I start seeing things that's kind of shady in these documentaries and breakdowns, I'm saying, I got to go away from it. I move away from it. I don't follow any false information that's been determined to be false. So, yeah, I would argue right now that the moon landing happened until I get better evidence that it didn't.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So I know me and you also had some back and forth about 9/11. What's your opinion about 9/11? You still have the same views on that?
Yeah, 9/11 was an inside job orchestrated by members of the federal government. Absolutely. No doubt. 100%.
You also feel that way about the first child was that attempt when it first
And
time.
that's the debate that I want so motherfucking bad. But I think that's just one of them things. Unless you get somebody who actually worked for the fucking government into this debate league, black people are just gonna feel that. I don't even think black people feel like it's a inside job because they've done a research. I just think they just like conspiracy theories to the point where it's like, you know. But I mean, I enjoy a good conspiracy theory, but it has to have so much weight to it, you know. But yeah, I would love to have that debate. The moon landing thing, yeah, I've been there with Taz. Like I remember when he was saying, yeah, no, it didn't happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see that he at least is considering that, or it says, yeah, he will argue that we did make it there, other than we didn't. Now, did they lie about stuff? Yeah, sure. Are they covering stuff up? Yeah, sure. But did we go to the moon? Yes. Is 9/11 an inside job? Yes.
Time they tried to attempt to take the towers down in 93?
Yeah, the 1993 bombing, I actually found a few things that seemed like either the FBI was involved or just blind to what was going on around them. Either they were inept and dumb or they were in on it. But a lot of the 1993 bombing itself, now that's when I would argue that the government was responsible for it.
You would argue that the government was responsible for the 93 bombing. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think I heard your argument about that before. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. What was the other question I wanted? Okay. Yeah. What do you feel about gender politics? What's your opinion about gender politics? Do you think that's something that should be promoted, pushed, focused on, or do you feel like it's a waste of time?
I think when you start talking numbers that directly point to one gender being more of a victim of something, I think awareness needs to be raised on that. And so, like when we talk about gun violence with youth, I think those are things that demand a more of an awareness being raised surrounding them. The high rates of femicide against Black women, I don't think we're supposed to put those things to the side. Those things should be elevated in terms of awareness.
Okay, fair enough. Do you feel like the feminist movement and the LGBT movement are kind of like going hand in hand politically?
You said the feminist movement and LGBT going hand in hand. Well, right now I would say yes, absolutely. That's what happened with the Democrat Party, I think, when Barack Obama brought pretty much that crowd in 2012 when he approved gay marriage and started writing up a whole bunch of legislation that was openly supportive of that community. Then you transition into 2016 and you get Hillary's group that comes in as feminists and a bunch of women that, you know, want to see a woman win and whatnot. And then they get Donald Trump. And so I think that created the melting pot that put those two groups together right now as we speak.
Okay. So what's your opinion about men's rights activists? You had your fair share with them over the years.
Yeah, I'm okay.
They're doing it wrong.
Just got up
You know what I'm
8.
saying? And you know, that's kind of always been the argument, but it just got a little smoky, right? But like they're doing it wrong. Like, and a lot of times it come off as crybaby, whining, because when it comes to getting things done, like changing laws surrounding child support, changing laws around establishing paternity, those things have to be dealt with within a community, and communities of men are, you know, taking L's at the hands of these systems. Men going up to the child support office every month, paying a bill, every week paying a bill. If there's no way to put all of those men together to go and collectively fight on local levels, state levels, I don't know. They're doing it wrong. because there are legitimate issues that need to be contested, but you ain't gonna contest them from the internet. If your baby mama ain't letting you see your son, you're gonna have to deal with that in a courtroom. And if the courtroom is not fair to us, which I would argue it's not, then men need to be willing to come together to fight that, or it is what it is, fam. Y'all just hustling. And I'm saying I ain't seen no men come together to fight that shit. I've offered men to be, hey fam, I come, you know what I'm saying, just to try to get the ball rolling on something like that. And I just haven't seen men actually working in the men's right activism to get things actually done on paper.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay, I know a question I forgot to ask you before. Court cases. You're big on court cases. You keep up with the type stuff. You study this stuff historically. What court cases do you think were some of the biggest court cases that affect the Black community?
Of course, Plessy versus Ferguson, you got the establishing of Jim Crow. Brown versus Board of Education. I think that's a very important one to always remember. But, one of the ones that's not talked about is a decision called Pace versus Alabama in the 1800s. And I do think, that's one of those stories that at some point we have to deal with in regard to how our history is related to us. So you had some Black men at that point again get proximity to white women. And I think because we don't view integration as having happened after slavery, we only talk about it from an integrated standpoint in the 1960s. But knowing that coming right off the plantation in the 1880s, you had interracial relationships and you had people fighting to be in these interracial relationships, it should imply that there was some level of integration before we thought there was integration. And I think some of the earlier civil rights movements and court cases that go along with them are ignored in favor of the 1960 decisions that started to knock down the barriers of Jim Crow. The federal government didn't enforce a lot of it, and I think that's why we got here. But the earliest decisions in the Supreme Court, I think, were the ones that mattered, but they were overlooked till 64.
Okay. All right. So you said you wasn't a separatist. So are you're pro integration? Like, as far as like, you feel like integrating after we came out of slavery, do you feel like that was a bad decision or a good decision? What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think integration for Black people was the best decision. I think understanding that our biggest opposition was white people in America is the hardest hurdle here to get across in understanding in terms of integration. I'm not necessarily, quote unquote, for integration, but it is what it is. We're looking at something that people fought and died for since 1865, the time we came off the plantation, and was looking for a way to actually benefit here. So it wasn't my choice to be integrated. We're just integrated. And so, yeah, I don't think we took any L's by integrating. And I wish a motherfucker would try to debate me on that.
Well, I'm your motherfucker. I can say that. Can I be mad at integration? For me personally, for Black people as a whole, recently, I guess I can, but it'll be, a small amount. But the way that I look at it is, Black people, of course, I'm a separatist. And I'm only a separatist because I feel like the system is just so based and soaked in white supremacy that Black people will never get a fair spot. We will always just be thankful for the crumbs that white people no longer feel are valuable, or they can't just hold against us no more, right? The wealth gap. Like, you can't keep Black people in 2025 making $10,000 a year, while white trailer trash people are getting 60, 70, 80, $100,000, and even, going on to people becoming millionaires and billionaires. So you let some black people become millionaires. Cool. There's some ways for black people become billionaires, but we were already billionaires. We already had bread. And it's not about the money, it's about the people. And us integrating into this society just divided us. This division that Taz says is the biggest problem. We're too judgmental. That's because we've integrated into a society that we integrate into a society where our children are born into it, never hear about the before, and only know the latter. And so here we are. Now you have a white mindset. You have white values. You have non-black, plans and goals and stuff like that. And I just believe that black people would be better off today if we just never integrated fully into their system. Like, to me, all it did was integrate our money into their businesses. It took away from our own restaurants, our own movie theaters, our own clothing shops, our own shoe shops, our own lanes of entertainment, and just built Hollywood, built all these clothing designs, built all these things that black people are willing to pay more for and white people are getting for free because we're paying more for it. So it's like every time you buy a pair of shoes, you buy a pair of shoes for you, but you make it possible for 2-3 other white people to get shoes for free or at such a cheap cost. Like, it's just fucking ridiculous. No, black people integrating into America fully it was the destruction of black independence. It really was. Like, if we would have stuck to our guns and never integrated, we probably have our own nation by now. That was hundreds of years ago. We probably would have a Liberia in America by now. We probably would have land in America right by now that we're running the rules, we're setting the government, and we're protected by the federal laws. Leave those people alone. They doing their own thing. So I'm pretty sure I could give him a lot of motherfucking smoke, a lot of motherfucking a lot of brake dust will come from this. Yeah, so shout out to it.
All right. So what do you think the biggest problem in the black community is?
Right now, the biggest problem in the black community, I would say we too judgmental of each other. And I'm saying that in terms of, like, even when you start looking at the next layers of things like bad relationships and people shooting at each other and all this dumbass shit. Like, I think if we had more respect for each other and we're able to meet each other where we are, we wouldn't be doing a lot of that shit. And so a lot of the issues in the black community, like, they weren't around when I was growing up. Like, your next door neighbor could come and knock on your door and ask for some sugar and then have to worry about putting them on Facebook for the shit. And so now I just think we're so fractured in that regard because people don't trust each other. And because, we prejudge each other and we're too judgmental, we're not getting the benefit of being around each other. You know what I'm saying? And we've kind of lost touch with the community aspect of dealing with one another every day. And again, when you lose that, you start to get the messed up relationships, the shooting at one another, and so on and so forth. Everything derives from not fucking with one another.
Okay, so do you feel like religion is a problem? Do you feel like that's a divider or a problem in our community?
It's in there.
Okay, so do you feel like religion is a problem?
You know what I'm saying? And we've kind of lost touch with the community aspect of dealing with one another every day. And again, when you lose that, you start.
And I believe that comes from integrating into the white American society took away from creating a Black American society. And so, yes, the people who can afford Gucci like white people are judging the people who can't afford Gucci like white people. The people who can afford to eat like white people, are judging the people who can. The people who think more like white people are judging the people who don't. But I think we would have more unification, more solidarity, more patience, more understanding, less judgment on each other, unrighteous judgment on each other, if we work such integration in this.
Start to get the messed up relationships, the shooting at one another, and so on and so forth. Everything derives from not fucking with one another.
Okay, so do you feel like religion is a problem? Do you feel like that's a divider or a problem in our community?
It's in there. It's down there. You know what I'm saying? It's down there, but like again, that goes kind of into judgmental though. You know what I'm saying? Because like for real, the Christian dude gonna say that the atheist going to hell. They gonna say the Muslim is supporting the pagan and so on and so forth. So again, these judgments are made about people who follow religions. If we was just kind of black first and none of that shit mattered, if we judged each other based on who we were, just black people, and we did kind of live through our history, we wouldn't have time for a lot of that dumbass shit.
So, what's your theological position? Are you a theist, atheist, agnostic? What do you claim to be?
I think agnostic is the one that is like indifferent and don't care. Is that what agnostic is? Yeah, that's me. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, bro. I be listening.
And I think that's where he gets shaky at. Well, I know that's where he gets shaky at. And shout out to Pam Mulatto.
Peace, fam. Yeah, this Pam Mulattoism. How you doing?
What's going on, fam? What's going on, fam? How you doing today?
Ain't too much. I've been tuned in for maybe the last 5 minutes. I do gotta say, big up to Taz. I respect him as a debater, but I do want to address one of the issues that you just spoke about because it's something I thought about for a lot of different phases of my life. This is a question I had. Now, you're right, and I agree with you when you say that Black Americans, descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, most likely, if we did not integrate, it's true, we will most likely have our own separate landmass. Arguably, we may have even been able to establish our own nation or at least a commonwealth comparable to maybe a Puerto Rico. But my question is now, have you ever thought about masses of Black Americans moving to, let's say, the U.S. Virgin Islands and being able to govern I'm a mulatto, so I don't want to say ourselves and speak for the blacks. But have you, as a black man, thought about Black Americans moving to the U.S. Virgin Islands and being able to govern yourselves, at least to a particular degree, as a U.S. territory?
Yeah, I thought about it, not specifically the Virgin Islands, but yeah, I have the Black Migration Program, and I think that Black people need to concentrate their numbers, get off the internet, pick a land, get there, talk face to face about what we need to do next to cause less infiltration as possible. And I'm not against whatever land, because I don't have preferable land. I just know we all need to be able to afford to reach it.
Exactly. And that's the reason I suggested the U.S. Virgin Islands, mainly for two reasons. As you just said, it's very accessible, very affordable to get down there. And number two, you don't need a passport to get down there, literally. So this is something that could be very lucrative to a lot of our population that are felons, ex-convicts, and I say that even myself. I'm a I'm a felon. You know what I mean? I'm an ex-convict. So if we were speaking about building a nation for ADOS FBA people outside of the U.S., a lot of us gonna run into problems trying to travel there. Just because we can't get passports or the country themselves might not grant us entry. But we don't have that problem with the U.S. Virgin Islands. Any one of us could go.
Yeah, well, I'm with that. That's a great discussion, great addition to the
Yeah.
conversation.
I wanted to put that out there because All right, I'll say this: St. Thomas, and I'll say this in closing. St. Thomas, as you know, that's a part of the U.S. Virgin Islands. When you go there, it's very congested, and the real estate is very expensive. But when you go to St. Croix, that's also a part of the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's very I don't want to say it's desolate because that's not the correct word to describe it, but the population isn't very dense at all. The real estate is very affordable. In fact, you got people from St. Croix that are leaving St. Croix, basically abandoning the island. So I think it would be an ideal place for Black Americans to, relocate and centralize our power in.
Understood. Yeah, I'm not. Shout out to St. Croix. We can talk about it, like I said, but to get a bunch of black people on the island somewhere, I think will make it easier for us to be attacked. But I won't drive off of fear like that because they can attack you in Kansas, or New York,
That's my
wherever.
brother. We getting attacked in these cities every day. Matter of
Yeah,
fact, you see, and I'll say this to land my plane. And I don't agree with everything Trump does, and I don't disagree with everything Trump does. But you see, Trump just sent the National Guard to D.C., which is the nation's capital. So if we can be attacked there, we can be attacked anywhere.
understood. Yeah, shout out to you, man. I appreciate your presence, bro, in the conversation.
Yes,
You
sir.
know,
I appreciate you having me up. Before I drop down, I do, and like I said, I've been watching maybe the last 5 minutes of this discussion with Taz. Uh, is Psycho, is he holding or is he hosting the debate league now? Is that what's going on?
yeah, you joining?
Nah, most likely not. I'm a spectator, man. I'd like to just watch and learn, man. But I'll
Understood.
definitely be tuning in. Have any debates been scheduled?
No official debates as a date or anything. Of course, people are kicking each other in the nuts about certain information and lining up validity of certain debates, but right now, all I'm assuming is Psychopathias is making it to the interrogations, the interviews, and then we'll actually start setting up some seeing a real time frame of when the
Yeah.
seasons or stuff like that. However he set it up, yeah. So just stay tuned. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Debate League, DABATE League with the periods in debate. That's how you find it. It's in the description. The Psychopathy channel. So shout out to Psycho for holding it down. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna drop down. But thanks for having me up. Much love, King.
Love to you, God. Be good. Yeah, so shout out to pair mulattoism. 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 Shit. Okay, I got it. Mulattoism. But what was the point? Oh yeah, well yeah, the Black Migration Program, however it moves, wherever we decide to meet up at. I figure we need to do it in two spots, east spot, west spot, or a central spot, southern spot, however it goes. Or just giving people more of a chance to actually concentrate their numbers and say, hey, everybody meet in Wyoming. Okay, if you're on the west, if you're on the north, if you're going to the south, these are the designated areas that we will meet up at to talk about St. Croix, to talk about land in California, whatever it is. I think California would be one of the worst spots. Um, I'm looking more of a Central American spot where, not like Central America, like South America, no. A Midwestern, not even Midwestern, because I consider like the Midwest cut off like Ohio. But one of them mountainous areas, you know what I'm saying, that isn't so densely populated, doesn't have so much infrastructure. Like a part of America needs that built. So it's like we go there and do our thing. Or we could talk about that once we start having those conversations again. But yeah, shout out to the Black Migration Program.
And sometimes I'm intrigued, but I think it's problematic. I think
Oh, yeah, that's where ties get shaky. What are we? What are humans? What do you? And you can't say you don't care. You can't say you don't give a fuck, right? Because I know that's one of Taz's things. Yeah, you ask that nigga about something, man, I don't give a fuck about that shit. He focuses on the things that he studies and he does professionally and as a hobby. But when it comes to dragging him out to water that he usually don't care to traverse, it's like, well, let us pick your brain on this. What what is your guessing, your assumption? What would you presume? What evidence have you seen? What are you leaning toward? What are you convinced of? What are humans and where do we come from? And what is it? What is life? What is existence? What is existence, Taz? Okay, I get it. This is the most detrimental court case to black people in the world. And, you know, these are the laws that's being passed to get reparations to a couple people, you know, a few people, few families somewhere. But answer the biggest question that man has always had. What the fuck is this? You know, I would like to hear Taz, you know, not just to get him somewhere where he'll be weaker at and I'll, you know, have a better chance of landing solid punches against him, because I actually challenged myself to step up to Taz. Not even to step up to, but in the places that I know he clearly has me to step up to. But I like to be challenged and get the opportunity to challenge the Tazes, the Domos, the people who feel like they are extremely good. Like, and people even put A9 in that, right? But A9 to me is not like Taz and Domo. Like, Domo is a clear debater. Domo is a clear, quote unquote, scholar. He's very knowledgeable of this stuff. Taz has just, even though he's not like the college based like Domo is, he's vigorously, insanely went crazy and dedicated so much of his time and his money, he travels to places to do this research that, like, he's just undeniable. We don't have the resources to deny Taz. You know what I'm saying? We haven't done, like, oh man, you don't know all of this shit like you think you is. But even if he's faking it, guess what? He's put on such a great fucking production, you cannot shake that shit. You can't test that shit. You can just hope to compliment it with your contrary ideas. But yeah, Taz has just went so insane, learning the things that he learned, doing the things that he did. Now he is a quote unquote scholar. He's an historian. He's a collector and a retainer of all of this information that is so prevalent in the discussions that we fucking have. You know, so it's like Domo went the scholastic way and Taz went the more, you know, entrepreneur way, for lack of a better term. But they meet at this spot where I know information. I know where to get it if I haven't retained it, and I know how to compile it, and I know how to present it. Now, Aina is like clearly one of the top debaters, right? And has been at times declared the top debater, right? But it's like A9 come from the community of Hebrew Israelites, where all these Hebrew Israelites came into the non-religious sector, patting each other on the back, glorifying each other for being knowledgeable. But it was only knowledge about the fucking Bible. So they were over here impressing each other with scriptures, and then by the time they came and presenting, see, that's the thing. A lot of them came over here with these titles, the bishops and the pastors and the you know, and so when I started getting introduced to these people, the recognition that they was getting to me was like intellectual. Oh, they're smart. Oh, they're studied. Oh, they're knowledgeable. Oh, they're sensible. But no, it was they have a religious following with the people that agree with them on the Bible. Now, the difference with Anon is, as things started getting tested and the crazy religious people started running away. Oh, y'all really holding people accountable. Oh, I didn't know you wanted a source. 99% of the religious people that came into the non-religious sector trying to debate ran back to their Bible study channels. Anon did. Anon said, no, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I have a source. I know where to get the information if I haven't retained it. And because of practicing or actually, practicing or doing work over here, I know how to compile it and present it. So he had the debating shit down. Now, I don't know him to have a debate history as far as school. You know what I'm saying? So there we have it. Anon rose amongst the ranks of the religious people. It even got to the point where he started debating non-religious things. You know what I'm saying? And then the style of even debating religious stuff, like, because I like debating the Bible. I don't like debating your belief. So Anon is able to separate his belief from the debate and compile the information and say, like, what are you going to do about this? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to preach to you. He will, but he doesn't have to. So there we go with the Anon and the Taz and the Domos, and I don't necessarily want to bring them into, you know, where I'm at. Well, did Egypt discover America? You know, shit like that. I like to get recognized as parallel to them with my style of debating, with my viewpoint, my perspective of information, how we got here, and what life is, and what existence is, and you know my perception on what America is, and you know, so yes, I want to see Taz get drug out into this space where I want to hear what you think life is. How did we come to be? Because he's gonna go insane. We're not doing him any justice, okay? Taz will be in an echo chamber by himself if he's not already there. If he's not already there. But that's where you get this ability to do what he did after his fucking interview, after the fucking interrogation, where it's now let me preach about how great I am. You see what I'm saying? Like, me, myself, I've never locked in to my own inside echo chamber where I'm like, no, you're right. No, you're right. No, you're right. I'm always willing to be corrected, and that just won't allow me to get into this brain lock of a character where I can just rain down fire on you motherfuckers. And Taz does that great, but he can unlock from that character. He can step right out of that insanity and talk to you about anything, but then when it's time to shake some shit, Taz is going to shake some shit. So I want to see him in places where he's less comfortable, and we can get it like that then. We could dead get it in. So let me see what he. Yeah, well, clearly he's gonna say he don't give a.
Think like if keep. Yeah, I think agnostic is the one that is like indifferent and don't care. Is that what agnostic is? Yeah, that's me. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, bro. I be listening, and sometimes I'm intrigued, but I think it's problematic. I think like if keep following down these paths that separate us, you know what I'm saying, we can never get nowhere like that. So, like, you know, we can't have one uniform religion. We don't need none.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I hope y'all heard that, because I had to
race. What's your opinion about race in this country? Do you feel like race, like, you know,
if keep I don't give a fuck about that, is the one that is like indifferent.
So, what's your theological position? Are you a theist, atheist, agnostic? What do you claim to be?
I think agnostic is the one that is like indifferent and don't care. Is that what agnostic is?
Yeah,
that's me. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, bro. I be listening, and sometimes I'm intrigued, but I think it's problematic. I think like if keep following down these paths that separate us, you know what I'm saying, we can never get nowhere like that. So like, you know, we can't have one uniform religion. We don't need none.
Okay. All right. So race. What's your opinion about race in this country? Do you feel like race?
And to tell the truth, I think a unified religion is like inevitable. It's inevitable. Like humans holding humans accountable and not falling under the same bullshit, you know, the same methods of manipulation and lying. When humans really stop utilize lying and start implementing a system of truth telling, then when someone lies, it will get shut down. So the moment someone says, yeah, God came to me and told me I was no, he didn't. What's wrong with you? You understand what I'm saying? So the things that we can say is, yes, we exist. Yes, humans come from reproduction with humans. Something had to jump that off outside of being human. You can have your evolution theory, this, that, and the other, but the Big Bang did not create existence, even if the Big Bang is true. And then, even if you believe that there is some deity, the deity can use the Big Bang theory to create existence. Like, that doesn't disprove a deity. It doesn't disprove a God. All it does is disprove the story of the Bible. But then the Bible lets you know, oh man, this is metaphor. That can shape, turn anything. The Bible can say, I shot you in the face. You'd be like, no, it clearly said that you shot. Well, what that means is when it say I, it means us, the entire, it means unity, all people unity. And when it say shot, with shot, you gotta understand what shooting is, and it's the explosion, it's the release of the energy. So it's like I didn't mean I hit you in the face with a gun. What I meant was my energy from my heart from created all of us to be like that. It's just Fraggle Rock talk. That's what it is. It's Fraggle Rock talk. If anybody know what Fraggle Rock is, if anybody remember what Fraggle Rock is, that's what it is. But when people be able to stand on what we can prove and stop making dumb assumptions and guesses on the things we can't, we'll have a unified religion. And it'll be just that simple. All the practices that you have wouldn't matter. Do your thing, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. But the implement of resources, it won't be this black man. God damn, boy. Okay, let's go. What do you feel about race?
You know, it's a group of people that believe race is biological. It's a group of people that believe it's a social construct. What's your opinion about race as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, the social construct argument is fair as long as we acknowledge that times and dates are social constructs and you live by them every day. So as long as we're not diminishing social constructs, I'm perfectly fine with it because I'm willing to acknowledge, yes, it's a social construct that we live by that is real based on the fact that it's a social construct that we live by. So yeah, I'm saying race is real based on the social construct.
Okay. Do you feel like race pride is important?
Race pride? You said race pride?
Yes. Racial pride.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I agree with him on that. Yeah. The recognition of race that we go by is designed by men based off of things they couldn't control. So yeah, race is real, and race is a social construct. But like you say, the fact that we live by, I never looked at time as a social construct. I looked at the measurement of time, like the system of time. But that may also be true, you know. But yeah, race is real, and even though it's a man-made concept and can be changed by man, it's clearly based off phenotypes and lookership and it's just documenting people and some science, I guess. But yeah, I agree with him.
Mr. B1, always and forever. Absolutely. Race pride is going to always be important in this country where, we don't particularly see Black people exhibiting pride anymore. So you are going to have it within yourself. So.
Okay. From a scale to 1 to 10, collectively in this country, where do you think Black people's pride is at? From a scale to 1 to 10.
I would say about 5. And the reason I'm picking 5 is because I think it's a hit or miss right now in terms of conversing with Black people about Black issues and getting a B1 Black-based response. You know what I'm saying? The response from the person may not be ideologically race-based. And I think, that's a problem. But you know what, I will say this too. I would raise it up to about 7 for this moment with Trump in office, because I think it's a little more heightened when you have a threat. When there's a perceived threat, Black people are more inclined to come together. And so I think you see a little bit more race pride right now with Trump in office. But I think once you go back to business as usual, you won't see as much.
My bad, I was on mute. Okay. So you mentioned Donald Trump. What's your opinion about Donald Trump? Do you feel like Black people should be concerned with Donald Trump? Do you feel like it's too much hyper focus on Trump? What's your opinion about that?
Man, they done goated Donald Trump, man. Like, I feel like if people went to sleep the way they normally do any other Democratic term, Donald Trump wouldn't be as relevant. I think his attention seeking and being able to benefit from it is the biggest problem. Because I wouldn't argue that Donald Trump isn't problematic. I would argue the attention that he seeks and is validated through everyday discussions about him is the problem. So he won. You know what I'm saying? And again, for me, that was impressive in itself. But once he wins, okay, that's that. Let's get through these 4. I'm saying people act like every day is the end of the world for him. And that's, to me, that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of, again, indifferent when it comes to a president being in office. Like, you know what I'm saying? His history and legacy will speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to wait and see what that is. The first 4, not that good, nothing to brag about. You know what I'm saying? So they voted him back in. I didn't vote for him. You know what I'm saying? So, again, when it comes to a lot of this, I think we are too involved emotionally. I think if we were more intellectually involved, it would be more to our benefit. But we're too emotionally involved.
Okay. All right. So, I think I exhausted a lot of the questions that I wanted to peel back on. Got a lot of stuff out. I guess we can get ready.
Yeah, and I can see that. Well, you know me, I have no faith in the political system. I think Black people would make a way bigger impact and undeniable impact if all Black people held their vote. If no Black people voted in none of the American elections, I think it would be a clear fucking recognition of we are different. But the fact we keep trying, oh, you got a toe. Oh, yeah, you got a toe. Well, let me put my toe next to your toe and talk about toes. No. You are not oppressed like I'm oppressed. You are not what I am in so many ways, and these are the ways that I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the fact that you got towers. I want to talk about the fact that we don't have resources. We don't have unification. We don't have freedom to express ourselves. We don't have freedom to even think. Black people within their own mind have so much trouble even thinking. There's an anxiety that comes with being black when you ask a question like, what do you think about the government? What do you think about the president? Any social questions where you know there's a dominant society watching your ass, where they know there's a more powerful society watching your ass, people who can get you the fuck up out of here with their propaganda and lack of coverage and, just ignoring your ass, blackballing you from the whole scene. It's like, there's levels to this shit, bro. But black people don't even have the freedom to freely think. I'm looking at it and it's like you talk to a Christian and you ask a Christian, well, what do you think about the Muslims? And they're terrified to think. But let me actually think. Let me see. Well, a Muslim is just someone who, they believe, like they don't do that. They be like, oh, you mentioned Muslims, oh, get up out of here. They karate chop and they pray and they going. Get up out of here. I want to hear about it. Like that comes with being black. So no. When we talk, I don't want to talk about my more comfortable position. I don't. I want to talk about the things that cannot be fixed by white people creating or restructuring. It has to come internally from black people. So yeah, shout out to Taz, man. Great interview.
The debaters come up.
Let me see if I can find that spot.
What about
like along
to an America that, and it seems like that's the narrative.
Like for real, bro, this shit was getting
okay. There you go. Yeah.
In a lot of and nah, bro. I think like the only time we need to be talking some delineation shit is when we talking reparations. Debate league motherfuckers talking about they want to debate.
There you go.
Debate you because most
go broke looking the part instead of actually making the sacrifice. Like I don't.
What you talking about?
In this white supremacy politically is like
veterans historically. So no, I don't have any.
Okay, but it because
guarantee that considering
that's where it matters.
Nigga, you niggas ain't up right for real. Don't nobody got shit else to say. Fucking go, nigga. Get up out of here.
Shout out to her.
Now she got up out of here, bruh. Yeah. Like y'all finna get up out of here. Like niggas don't want no motherfucking smoke with the motherfucking goat, nigga. I don't know why y'all niggas still sitting here. Don't nobody got shit else to say. Don't nobody want no motherfucking smoke, nigga. You niggas ain't up like for real. When it comes to like, bro, I got robbed out of fucking championship, nigga. Like I'm ready. Where the fuck is Damo? Like this nigga be around for everything else, nigga. Let's go. Let's get it. Where like this motherfucker's missing. Where the Akmalak ass niggas at? Like all these niggas in the debate league, motherfuckers talking about they want to debate. I'm gonna send that email psycho. Where you niggas at? This nigga in the chat fucking around. That's what I say, nigga. I got these niggas terrified. Then shut these niggas the fuck up for years. What make me think a nigga would want to interrogate me on some debate shit? Nigga, hurry the fuck up if you're coming. If not, nigga, let's shut it down. We're done. Like, nigga, the fuck? No motherfucking smoke the goat, nigga. Fucking greatest, nigga. Bring up some more dumb shit. Nigga, what else you want to motherfucking debate, nigga? What else you want to debate? Niggas debate something. Nigga, why the fuck am I the only one talking in my interrogation, nigga? More niggas would be able to get off for criminal activity if they was the only ones talking. Niggas sitting around. Imagine that in an interrogation, the motherfucker looking at you like, I know I done fucked up. I know I done fucked up by bringing you up here. I know I done fucked up by presenting you in front of these niggas thinking somebody could cook with you, thinking somebody was actually able to get on your level with this shit. Ain't none of you niggas ready. Niggas all in the chat kikiing and laughing and shit. No, nigga, this is that. This is your moment. This is your chance. Come try to shine, nigga. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna shine with me. But I'm here, waiting, still. TikTok, nigga. It's 7:20. Nigga still ain't here. Hour and 20 minutes done went past. Nigga down there in the chat fucking around, man. I'm chilling, man. Fuck that debate shit. I hear you. Chris Harris, you listening? Where your soft ass at, bitch? I want to debate you on that shit you been talking about, Peggy, nigga. Soft ass nigga. Hey, don't nobody want no motherfucking debate smoke with GOAT, nigga. None of these niggas. The fuck we talking about here? What the motherfucking vote, nigga? Don't nobody want to debate shit. Don't nobody want to interrogate, bro. I done got hype, nigga. I'm ready. Niggas done ran. Niggas got up out of here. Niggas quiet, bro. Like, why are y'all on mute? Like, this ain't no fucking performance.
Over with, man. That shit over with, man. Welcome to the league, man. I ain't expecting.
I know my mic ain't gonna over talk that nigga anyway. So.
And that's just what the fuck is gonna be. All right, it's like it ain't even no structure around it, no, nothing. But shout out to E, yes, because the people who be around for all of these panels, the people who be around talking all of this shit, when he came for Taz to get interrogated, didn't pop out. It's Suave, Madon, Marley, Moses, Akasha, and I think it was one more. If not, that was it. Do y'all know how hard y'all went in on Marley? Because it was easy. You're not gonna have that same drive when it came to Taz, and I don't know why. But you won't. This was the opportunity. Here you go. Here you go. And me, myself, on everything I love, when I jumped into Marley, I didn't jump on the panel for Marley interrogation, but when I jumped in on the streaming of it, I didn't see the question. I didn't even know that Psycho asked him questions. So I didn't know how long the question part was going to be. So I went to go fry a burger right quick. And he said, I just put this stuff out the refrigerator, turned the fire on it. He said, okay, well, I guess I'll bring the people up here. I'm like, okay. It's going to take me about 10 minutes to fry this burger. Slap a little mayo on this bread, slice of cheese, cut up some mushrooms, flip it over. The mushrooms on there, put the cheese on there, put it on the bread, hit it with a little mustard ketchup or whatever it was I want. And then I'm back. Man, when I looked at the screen, I heard nothing because it was, Psycho did the promo video. You fucked up, right? So he does that. And when the screen come back on, it's just Psycho and Taz. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought it was going to be flooded with niggas. I said, oh, hell no. They is not finna do my nigga like that. So I hit the link. And I remember a couple points, but Psycho channel, you can't rewind live. So that's what I like to do during the interrogation. I will go back and listen to certain points that I want to bump heads with you on, and I wasn't able to do this. But I had remembered a couple things. And so I jump on, I give a little shake to the tree, come against my points, like, okay. I know it's nothing that I'm hate-filled about or nothing like that. So, yeah, I can see the lack of energy. And I haven't been around for a minute. So, like Domo said, I got ring rust. But me, Rusty, I still can, I'm just way better. My information is just way more truer than y'all's, first of all. Better. So, yeah, you better take advantage of it now. But I passed the mic to Madon. Madon goes in because he's a complete lunatic. So then when I get done cooking, then I have to come back and get back out Taz. You know what I'm saying? But I had to disengage pretty early because I didn't want to burn my fucking food. But yeah, for some reason, when it came to interrogate Taz, the big names weren't there. Anon, that was the other person. Anon. The big names weren't there. The big faces weren't there. The big avatars weren't on deck. Kobe wasn't there. Kobe didn't show up. So then, when Kobe finally shows up, Kobe come in talking shit to us like we did something wrong. Like we ain't been on this panel. Like we didn't. There you go. Like we ain't been up here kicking Taz information in the nuts. He comes up and say, how dare y'all? I said, man, the audacity of a Domo would come up here and take that stance. Because for one, he terrified of Taz. So he not finna come up here and say, Taz, okay, let me ask you this then. He gonna say, how dare y'all niggas let him sit up here like he didn't say this. No, go.
When they start going outside their own family and shit, and they start talking us and we and all of that shit. But like, if a person wants to align themselves with that, like again, I'm not.
Fuck all that. I ain't got a lot of time. I ain't got a lot of time.
Last question, and I'll be back. Last question, I'll be back.
I'm gonna give it back to you. Because y'all niggas is up here acting timid as hell. I ain't no way in hell y'all niggas call yourselves competitors, and y'all gonna let this nigga get up here and talk shit the way he talking shit, talking down to you niggas, the way he talking down to you niggas. Y'all better tell this nigga.
Did you hear that shit? The audacity of a Kobe Bryant motherfucker to come in this bitch after being quiet in the chat and laughing in the chat and not hitting the link to interrogate. You come up and say, I, to Brother Moses. And Brother Moses, he's a gentleman. He said, one more question. This nigga Dumbo said, no, I'm going to give it back to you. No, you're not finna take it from me. I said, one more question. You're going to sit your fuck ass right there on mute. Because you do got time. Let me ask this last question. And then you could go in. Because you ain't been here. So we got the nigga who was scared to hit the panel. After Taz smoked his ass in the chat. Now he runs into the building, runs past everybody, knocking people out the line. Let me get to the front of the line. Let me get to the... Nah, nigga. And then the nigga say, because the audacity, y'all niggas will sit up here and start talking shit to us. Say, let him talk shit to y'all like that. Talk shit to us. He was talking shit to you. Only thing he asked us is why is he the only one talking? Why is we on mute? Nigga. And I unmuted and said, yeah, congratulations. Welcome to the motherfucking league, nigga. The shit is dead. The shit is over with. Now here come Domo acting like I didn't want to have to do this. I was going to spare Taz right quick. But how the fuck y'all just gonna sit up here? This nigga did that and challenge us. That's weird, right? Alright. Shout out to Domo though. Shout out to Domo. Make sure y'all go over there to Psychopathic channel. Catch this stream in its entirety. Cause it was fire. And it is information that you're gonna love to know later on when the debates are popping off and Taz is talking shit about how nobody jumped up there and interrogated him. And then me, Madon, A9, Akasha, and Brother Moses gets mad and say, nigga, we jumped up there. You know, I think Marley said a few things. You know? But yeah, that's just it, man. Shout out to the debaters. Shout out to Psycho. I don't know what his title is. I doubt he will want to go with commissioner. But the president, the owner, the Psycho, he could make his own title up, man. The Psycholist or some shit like that, you know. But we're gonna put you on a fucking pedestal because we really appreciate you going out of your way to orchestrate this. And you know, with it coming off the back of what it came off of, which we will outlive, we will outgrow. But you just gotta admit that's a hell of a challenge. And Psycho character has always displayed itself like that. And yeah, so I can't give him enough props. Especially after I gave him so much scrutiny. Okay. But yeah, shout out to Psycho. Shout out to the channel. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the people who hit these chat rooms and interact with these channels, who keep other people engaged, who argue with the people, who agree with the people, who show love to the people, say hey to the people, that keep the people in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. It's the boy Suave Boss. If nobody's gonna jump on the panel, which I would love to start engaging with y'all again, I'm gonna find me something to watch. Hopefully somebody else is live. I don't know. Is anybody else channel popping? Like, am I missing something? Is everybody at Blue channel or something like that? Because I know that Blue be going live sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I know Madonna ain't got shit going on. You know, and where are the Akmalaks? Which I wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong name to fucking ask for. But where are the other debaters? Where are the debaters? Where are the people who've been talking shit on top of shit on top of shit? Are y'all sitting in those emails? I said mine there. And I hope that people do start cranking up their channels and engaging with each other so that we can get more promo, so that we can get more attention. And when we go live, hey, let's get over there. But I don't want to see 6 debaters in the debate league. But if it's only 6 debaters in the debate league, we can carry the debate league. I guarantee you. Taz A9, Domo, Madon, Lance, and myself can carry the debate league. And I put Lance in there because for some reason, y'all still think he's a good debate. Taz says he wants to see somebody debate Lance on his pyramid Earth, which is preposterous. That's the most insane thing I ever heard Taz say. I would have never thought Taz would ever give credence to a debate about a fucking pyramid Earth. But it's just the GOAT status that Lance is at when he's able to just talk uninterrupted about the stupidest, non-informative, lack of evidence having shit. I think that's what got Taz that like, hell nah, see this shit he doing on his panel and don't nobody crush. And that's why I'm not intimidated by Taz. Because Taz does the same thing. Uninterrupted, sitting on that panel. All he's gonna tell you niggas, why the fuck are y'all on mute? Why am I the only person talking? But when you get in that debate and you have to structure these rounds and you have to freestyle these rebuttals, that's where I shine. That's where I'm the GOAT. That's where I'm the number one, the top seed. So can't wait to see you guys in the ring. And like I say, if we gotta carry the lead, we will. Hopefully we have at least 15 people, so that we don't gotta debate each other back to back to back to back to back to back to back and always have a debate. Yeah, we want to sit back and watch y'all get better and y'all shine too. I want to see everybody at their GOAT status. I want to see A9, the best A9, going against the best Taz, going against the best Madon, going against the best me, going against the best Domo, going against the best Moses, going against the best Marty, going against the best Akashi. Yeah. So there it is. This is boy Swap Boss Man, or Arguing League, AOI at the Debate League, Snapping Off Entertainment. Shout out to Taz. Shout out to Psychopathist. Black Power. Keep your head up so y'all see bullshit. So y'all see the bullshit coming. And may you progress in lanes in which you got a passion. Because work is work, but it ain't got to be torture. This the boy Swap Boss. And I'm at. Where's that at? Hold on. I'm trying to get it one more time. Alright, man. Which I wouldn't, I don't know, maybe it's in the Debate League. We can carry the Debate League. I guarantee you. I don't know, maybe it's in the Debate League. We can carry the Debate League. Oh, snap. Okay, hold on. Because I thought it was, I guess I got to share it. Hold on. Let me see. Nickelodeon. Okay. To share audio, share a tab instead. Okay, it's not on the tab. It's not on a tab. That's crazy. So you can only share the audio on the tab. Okay, let me see. Cancel. And maybe I could share. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to see where I could get that from. Because maybe I could put it right there. And then maybe I could do this. Nah. Oh, I'm gonna get it. Don't worry. Well, maybe I could just share a tab. Let me see. I wanted to share it. Hold on. Nope, it's not. Okay, I'm gonna have to put that shit on the video and learn how to get it to y'all, man. But we out.